welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I am going to be working on a layout for the Paper Crafting YouTubers Facebook community group. This month we are doing sequins and all things sparkly and shiny. So I am going to create a layout with that in mind. And of course I'm going to bring in some green because it's March. Use these photos of me and my husband, and I've brought in some sparkly shiny stuff from Buttons Galore and More. This is a 28 Lilac Lane button, sequin, and bead mix. These are some doodads from Buttons Galore and More, and then some pastel balloons. So I will speed this up and we'll get started. So I have decided that I am going to be making a full shaker element on my 12 by 12 layout. I have already cut out the elements beforehand so that I could just start assembling my shaker. What I decided to do was to use a layered shamrock cut file that I had in my program already. I centered it on the light green paper and I cut out the shamrock, and I just set out the actual shamrock aside, and I can use that for another layout another time. I used the outer piece to put on top of a really pretty piece of paper that I've had in my stash probably for about 10 years. I bought it because my husband is Irish and I thought we might make some heritage pages. I've never made anything with it, and so I thought it was about time to pull it out and use it. And so the next thing I did was I got a darker green cardstock and I cut out the outline and I layered that over the centered element on the light green cardstock. In between those layers, you can see my ring light is shining on my transparency. What I used was an old transparency from when we were homeschooling. I know that some people think I'm nuts because I like to hand stitch on my layouts. This is something that I find very relaxing, and I tend to do projects like this while I'm watching TV with my husband when he's home, or while I'm watching TV on my computer or YouTube videos, whatever it is. But it just gives my hands something to do while I watch TV. It relaxes me. I do enjoy hand stitching. I always have. I'm not going to make you watch me punch every single hole and hand stitch this entire clover. I'm only going to do a little bit. Most of the stitching will be done off camera, and I will fill one of the leaves with my mixes, and then I'll hand stitch it, and that's all you'll have to watch. So as soon as I finish doing this heart, I believe I finished the stem, and then I'll go ahead and go off camera to finish poking the holes and doing most of the hand stitching. So I wanted to talk about the shaker that I'm going to make just a little bit. So when you poke holes for a shape such as a heart or a star that has points, you will always want to start with the points. So when I started poking at the beginning and I showed you, I started here, here, and then I went through all of the various points. So what I have done so far that I didn't talk about in the beginning is I layered a piece of pattern paper. Then this is a clear transparency. It is leftovers from homeschooling. Might as well use them somehow. It's not a super thick transparency, but it's one of those kind that you can write on with markers. We used them to create maps in our homeschool. And so then I layered this piece of cardstock on top of it, and then this darker green piece of cardstock. Now I cut this design with my Cameo through the Silhouette design store. And so then the next step is going to be, of course, to begin sewing. I am not going to sew on camera because it is, as you can see, it is going to take some time for me to do that. And I don't want this video to be a million minutes long, even fast forwarded. So what I will start doing is I will go ahead and sew or stitch like to about right here, and then I'll fill it, and I'll do that on each of them. Once I have filled one of these hearts with my shiny stuff, again, this is what I've chosen to use, I will close it off before going to the next one. And then to further close it off, I am going to be sewing all the way around the outside design. So I will be back with this partially completed. I will fill one of them on camera for you, but for the most part I'm going to do all of the shaker elements off camera. So I have created 2 of the 3 shaker elements already. What I have done is I have dumped some of the little shiny things from each of the 3 bottles that I chose into that little triangle. I mixed them up with my fingers, and then I used that triangle to just get them right into place where I needed them to go. I'm going to do a couple stitches here on camera, and then I'm going to take the rest of it off camera. You don't need to see me close it off, but that's how I did that part. My shaker element is completely finished now. I have matted my photos. I decided to only use one of the 2 photos because both photos took up too much real estate on my shaker, and I really wanted my shaker to show. You just saw that I added ATG and liquid glue both to that photo. The reasoning for that is the liquid glue will hold it permanently, but while it's drying, that photo would slip around on that transparency a little bit, so I added the ATG just to hold that photo in place so that I could build the flower elements around my photo without worrying about that photo slipping. I've mentioned a couple times in a few of my videos that I'm really trying to use up some of my Prima style flowers, and so I pulled from my box of Prima style flowers. I have each color in baggies so that I can just pull out the colors that I want pretty easily. So I pulled out the green since I'm making a monochromatic layout here, and I also pulled out some brads from my stash. Those don't get used as often as I would like either, so I'm kind of happy that I had some flowers that needed some centers. I found a couple of Doodlebugs sparkly glittery brads, and then there's a few simple stories from a collection that I have used up, but I had the brads left over and I just put them in with the rest of my brads. I wrote my journaling off camera, and I stacked the labels up and glued them down so that it would be easy just to put them on this layout on camera. And now I'm going to decide on my title. My title is going to say Lucky True Story. The lucky is going to end up underneath my journaling. True Story, I'm going to play around with a little bit on camera and see where I want it, and then I'll put it down permanently. So this set of thickers is missing some letters, and you probably saw down there at the bottom that I was cutting one of them. I turned an F into an L because I was out of L's, and I used an H to make a Y because I was out of H's. So I'm still able to use this set of thickers. That makes me happy because it's one step closer to using up that entire alpha. Now I'm going to bring in these really pretty glittery, they're like gems, but they look like little flowers, and I've had them sitting on my desk for a while to use up, and I decided to pull them in over here and just add them as little tiny details to my layout. Now here I'm going to play with that title. At first I wanted to say Lucky True Story and put it all underneath on that left side, but it didn't look right. And so I put it above my photo, and off camera it shows really well, but on camera I'm moving it back and forth because I just can't make up my mind, but it just doesn't work well right there. So I'm going to put it right back up on top above my photo, and it's going to work pretty well there, and it ends up looking really, really, really good. So I decided to do some really sped up gluing here. I'm using glue dots to put my flowers down and some liquid glue to adhere the rest of the elements. And now, as a finishing touch, I'm going to go ahead and add some splatters to this layout. I chose a Heidi Swap Sparkly Green and my Delusions white linen spray. I love this white linen spray. I've got 2 bottles, and I'm just hoping that they never stop making it because I really, really love it. I want to thank you for stopping by my channel today. I hope that you will check out that description box below to see the rest of the ladies who are participating in this hop. They are some talented ladies, and you need to check the videos out as well. If you liked my video, click like. If you're not a subscriber, I would love to have you as a subscriber on my channel. I do interact with each and every one of you when you leave me comments. So go ahead and comment and ask questions, and I'll get right back with you as soon as I can. I hope you have a great Saturday afternoon. Bye.